Good evening. I'm not going to be able to do a ramblin' while amblin' in the morning. I've got to go down to the Bay Area for a mediation. And yes, it is a family law mediation, so, get your jokes out. Anyway, I find all this to be very amusing. And first of all, let me just say that Van Balen posted this morning. And I would like to say thank you, by the way, Van Balen, for the free advertising. I appreciate it. Had I known that this morning's video would have been broadcast to the world, I would have been a little more clear with everything. I tend to talk to my audience, and I assume that the people in my audience understand the things that I'm talking about. And I wasn't entirely intending on it being broadcast to the sovereign citizen community, but what are you going to do? But my question here, and I think this is interesting, I asked Van Balen if this is a matter of opinion or fact, whether or not the First Amendment auditing community protects offenders should not be a matter of opinion. It should be a matter of fact. Do they or do they not? Not do I believe they do or do I not believe they do, but if they do, that is a matter of fact. If they don't, that is a matter of fact. Now, as I identify as a member of the First Amendment auditing community, and in fact I have a playlist of First Amendment audits, let's do this. Let's go to my channel, my playlists, and my audits. If you are stating that the First Amendment community protects sex offenders, then you are saying that I protect sex offenders because I am a member of the First Amendment community. Trying to overly generalize these kinds of things is, again, exactly the problem with doing what you're doing. And it is why the propaganda worked on you, because they overgeneralized, and you're insisting on not restricting it to those who are actually doing the offensive things. But that's neither here nor there. I do enjoy some of these, like this really on-topic point. Since there's no legitimate thing as a First Amendment audit, and an amendment that is successfully invoked 24/7 doesn't need to be audited in the first place, kind of speaks for itself. And yet, John Trevi the First, you might remember the little Turner v. Driver case. No, you probably don't, because you're probably not a part of this community, and you don't know fuck all about fuck all. But Turner v. Driver was a First Amendment audit. Turner was out auditing the police station. He was on a public sidewalk recording the police station. The police unlawfully detained him, kept him in a car for over an hour. Whether you like him or not, nobody deserves that treatment. And you're speaking about things you don't understand. Brian Miller says, right or wrong, it seems to bring out some intense feelings in that group. I don't have enough information to form an opinion on the subject, but from the comments on Murby's video, it struck a nerve. Who did he tell to go fuck himself? Well, if you watch the video, you'd see I was talking to Stunt Dummy. Now, people don't understand who Stunt Dummy is because this isn't part of the First Amendment community. This is sovereign citizen community. And so they don't understand what's going on. And then this genius here, Cameron Felkill, he gave me a little something to think on as well. Whoo, boy, did he. Hey, Van, go check out my thread on this video. You will get a kick out of it. Huh, pat me on the head. Look, I defended you. Give me my good boy bucks. And I thought I was on it, but let me see. I guess I wasn't. Yeah, here we go. He says, okay, because, screw grammar or anything like that. Okay, say it was your kid or a kid down the street from you. Your kid or a kid down the street from you. How would you feel then? Would you still accept him I don't know what you mean by accept. You put it in quotes. Some people are more accepting of sex offenders than others. I believe that sex offenders have a First Amendment right. Being convicted of being a sex offender does not remove your First Amendment rights. It removes your Second Amendment rights, but it doesn't remove your First Amendment rights. Well, hashtag, it generally removes your Second Amendment rights, not always your First. Because it doesn't remove your First Amendment rights, and because I am a First Amendment supporter, I'm a free speech supporter, First Amendment supporter, then yes, I think that he should have every right to say what comes to his mind, as long as he's not breaking any laws while doing it. He continues, the point is if he did or didn't do it is moot. Wait, I don't understand. The point is if he did or didn't do it is moot. It doesn't matter if he did or didn't do it? Well, if he did it, I don't understand. But you're right, he deserves the best lawyer. He can afford not what he can beg from people who feel sorry for him. No, wait, why does he lose the right to ask people to donate? That's still a First Amendment. That's constitutionally protected. And he can afford whatever he has money for. And if people are giving him that money, then he can afford it. I don't understand. I don't understand why you think that's an issue. And I didn't say it's my position is the right position. That's not propaganda. I was stating my position. My position, my argument is that he should have the best lawyer he can afford. Because that way we know for certain, or we know with a greater degree of certainty, whether he did or he didn't do it. If he has the best lawyer he can afford and he gets convicted of it, well, then we're pretty sure he did it. If he has a public defender and he gets convicted of it, he can always say, well, it was a public defender. My lawyer sucked. My lawyer wasn't interested in it. There's that seed of doubt. I want to know. I want to know with as great a degree of certainty as possible. But let's just forget that I do recommend here. But let's just pretend I'm going to give you the best answer I can, Cameron Felkel. I'm going to play your little game, even though your game is stupid. It's an appeal to emotion, and it's stupid. But I'm going to play it. And my dog's chewing on a bone right now, so if you hear that, I apologize. Pretend it's ASMR, or whatever it is. If I don't have a kid, so let's say if my wife was raped, I would want the police to do their best to find the rapist. I would then want the rapist to go on trial. And I would want the prosecution to do their best to prosecute that rapist, or the person the police caught. Now, I would want justice to play out, and I would want the person the police caught and said is the rapist to have a full and fair trial. Because at the end of the day, I would want to know whether or not the police caught the actual man who actually raped my wife. And I wouldn't try to take away his First Amendment right if he wanted to speak to the public or whatever. If he wanted to say something to the news, that's his right. I would caution him with the same advice that I caution Earl or anybody else. Shut your fucking pie hole and don't say anything. Don't talk about your crimes. Especially if you haven't been convicted of them yet. But that's just common sense. I don't try to stifle anybody's speech. I think you're a retard, Cameron Felkel, but I don't stifle your speech. Oh, and since I have this up, if anybody thinks, how do you get to it? YouTube Studio. Let's see. Is it in settings? Hidden users. No hidden users. No blocked words. I don't block links. So I don't know what the hell people are saying when I don't know why people believe that I actually block people, delete comments. It doesn't make sense, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. That's an argument on my channel. But the point, my position is, because I am an attorney, because I understand how the criminal justice system works, because I understand the framework of the Constitution, because I understand that a full and fair trial is what the founding fathers wanted and enshrined into the Fifth Amendment and the Sixth Amendment and the Fourth Amendment. I want that for everybody who is accused of being a sex offender. And if they're convicted of being a sex offender, I want them to be punished under the law, according to the law, according to sentencing guidelines. And then once they've done their time, I'm not going to trust my wife or my kids or whatever with them. But they've done their time. They need to, at some point, reintegrate into society, become useful members of society, get jobs, hopefully start a life for themselves, leaving behind their criminal offender past. That's the way our justice system works. We don't put away sex offenders for life, generally speaking. And so the criminal justice system anticipates them being returned back to the street. And because it anticipates them being returned back to the street, we have to allow them to function in our society. We have to allow them to do things like have YouTube channels and protest. I agree with you on this one, Van. The community, don't specifically protect all sex offenders, yet they protect sex offenders within their ranks, is a distinction I make. Again, define protect. Or what the fuck do you mean by protect? And who is they? Is it some small minority of the community? This guy doesn't think First Amendment auditors are useful. Well, okay.
Oh, AK Sleepy Girl. Oh, Van, yeah, I have to agree with you on this one. I couldn't even leave a comment on there because I was too pissed off at this idiot. Oh, my emotions. Lord help me. Where are my smelling salts in my fainting couch?
1As are complete pieces of fuckery as it is. Well, thank you. I take that as a compliment. Every single one of the ones I've seen are convicted criminals, for fuck's sake. Well, you've seen me. I am not a convicted criminal. Most have no jobs. I have a job. And you know what? Every single one of them who's doing this for profit has a job. Their job is being a First Amendment auditor. And before you get all preachy, well, that's not a real job. Unions have been paying people to picket for about as long as there's been picketing and unions. There are staffs in places like, why did I just suddenly go blank? The World Wildlife Federation. There's pro and anti-abortion advocates that have people on staff. They get paid to do that as their job. Just about every charity in the world pays people to do things, to collect donations. That there are staffs, there are salaries. And paying people what this community does, not just through AdSense, but through PayPal and other things, is they pay these people to do something that this community, in general, or at least the people who are paying, have found to be useful and productive, and they enjoy the outcome. And that is their opinion, and their opinion is just as valid as anybody else's opinion. And they could pay someone whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, because it's a free fucking country. They have no ambition. Well, apparently they have the ambition to be First Amendment auditors, so that's wrong again. No compassion. Where the fuck did this come from? I don't know why you think they have no compassion. They might not have compassion for the people they're videotaping, but they think it's their right to videotape. No lives. Well, I mean, that's, I guess, subjective. No meaning. I think they have a meaning. Their meaning is to make First Amendment auditing videos. No values. They like this is just dumb. This is no regard. None of them give a damn about anyone but themselves. Look, if they're protecting sex offenders, I mean, you just try to pick an internally consistent argument at least. If they are protecting sex offenders, they must give a damn about the sex offenders. They have zero concept of respect and privacy. I don't know how you can say that. They have a concept of respect. Their concept of respect is different than yours. Their concept of respect deals with the First Amendment, and they are asking the government to respect their First Amendment rights. They might be confused on what their First Amendment rights are, and often they are confused on what their First Amendment rights are. But they're asking people and the government to respect their right to film in public, generally. And privacy, if you're in public, you have a very limited expectation of privacy, AK Sleepy Girl. I'm not going to bust out all the reasons why, but you have very limited expectations of privacy in public. And they all hide behind their own interpretations of what the First Amendment really means. I'm hiding behind what the court's interpretation, what various circuit courts and the Supreme Court of the United States, what their interpretations of the First Amendment is and are. I've also discussed what the California Constitution's interpretation is by the California Supreme Court and various appellate courts. She's glad that the court system is starting to crack down on these wastes of humanity. I only wish these douche canoes would get harsher punishments. Well, that is just awfully swell. Thank you. And 5 people thought that was great, and so did Van Balen. Awesome. Then, for better and or worse, auditors tend to circle their wagons around their own whenever one of their members of their mental masturbation society, this guy's obviously unbiased, find themselves in legal trouble, whether it is related to their work as auditors or not. Do they? Let's see. Richard Crowell. First Amendment auditing. I think it's that. Let's do it this way. There we go. If you know California Guardian, you would see that he is not rallying around. Salty Rant was at one time Blind Justice. He used to audit. I don't know what he's trying to say there, but okay. Somebody, Brian Swanson, I don't know who this is. But that right there, that is California Guardian stating specifically that Richard Matthew Crowell is disgusting because he molested his 8-year-old stepson. So there's your narrative popped. Oh, you said tend to. Well, tend to. That really answers the question on whether the First Amendment auditing community protects offenders. Well, they tend to. Well, some of them anyway. Okay, some of them tend to. Not all of them, not even most of them, but some of them do. And when they find themselves in legal trouble, where this comes from, generally speaking, from my experience, this is anecdotal evidence, I assure you, but when I see these things that come up, and I point out this is where the person broke the law, typically it's ignorant responses. And I'm not trying to make that, that's not derogatory ignorant. That is people who don't understand. They'll say things like the First Amendment trumps this law or whatever. They just don't understand how the law works. So yeah, they rally around. They think that the person had a First Amendment right to do it through disinformation or whatever else. That's why they rally around them. Or maybe they disagree with the law too, oftentimes. I've seen that quite a bit as well. But having been in this community, making videos for, I don't know, 2 years-ish? Almost 2 years coming up. And having been lurking in the comments for, years, it's just they don't understand the way the legal system works. They, meaning hashtag not all. Whether or not that becomes protecting sex offenders is really in the eye of the beholder. Again, yeah, it leaves it up to interpretation, doesn't it? And then he says he did have some valid points up in his video up to the point where he seriously screwed the pooch, no pun intended, with his childish meltdown towards your criticism at the end. I did not have any criticism of Van Balien's criticism. Watch the video again, stranger brothers. I was directing that fuck you too, or whatever I said, to Stun Dummy. Let's see. Transcript. You can open? Come on. There we go. Job well done, Stunt Dummy. Go fuck yourself. That's what I said. Meltdown at the end. FAA's community takes the side of the offender and villainizes the victims. The victims of what? The victims of being filmed? Or are you talking about the more serious charges where people have gone stalking and things like that? And which time did I take the side of an offender and villainize a victim? Slut shaming them for coming forward with their rape and sexual assault charges. The community was very, very divided on this. Gone 84 Wind. Very divided on it. The people who knew about it were divided on it. Some people believe David, Earl David Warden. Some people don't. And because they know him. I mean, they think they know him. They know his persona. But I haven't seen anybody slut shaming them. That's a new one. Slut shaming a daughter for coming forward with their rape and sexual assault charges. Or maybe the previous victims. But that was like in the 80s? I don't know what this guy's going on about. This is a community that accuses all cops of being criminals in waiting. A lot of people in this community do that, but will go to the mattress whenever one of their own actually commits crimes. Again, read more. I think a lot of this go to the mattress for the people who commit crimes is because they don't understand a crime has been committed. And why do they do this? Who's they? Because the only reason this community exists is because of YouTube monetization. My channel isn't monetized. I'm not sure that every channel is monetized. There's a lot of small auditor channels out there that are too small to be monetized. You have to have like a certain number of subscribers and things like that. It's harder to be monetized than people think. But I do think that one of the reasons this community is as big as it is because of YouTube, obviously. The prevalence of small portable cameras in your phone and, the ability to make money on it. It certainly plays into it for some people. But again, just because you make money on something, like I love being an attorney. I love it. I'm living my dream right now of being an attorney. I never suspected I would love being an attorney this much, but I absolutely adore being an attorney. And I get paid to do it. And the only reason I am an attorney is because I can get paid to do it. So, okay. And they will do anything and protect anyone. I mean, this is all just generalizations. Hypocrisy, thy name is hypocrisy, thy name is First Amendment auditing. This is just retarded. After watching the video and reading through the comments, I understand more than I did before, but still not up to speed on all the players. Lots of keyboard warriors and mental midgets. Welcome to my comment section. Trying to be relevant and failing miserably. Welcome to my comment section. In my humble opinion, when you resort to name calling and verbal abuse, you've lost. Back to the subject at hand. I don't think so. Name calling and verbal abuse, I think, are handy tools. As long as you make an argument, you can capitalize and punctuate that argument with name calling. Back to the subject at hand. I hate child molesters and rapists, and it looks like that guy doesn't. Like what? Because I think he deserves a fair trial. An attorney who thinks people accused of crimes deserve fair trials is that makes me love child molesters and rapists. All right. It makes me suspicious of his motive. Attorneys, our motive as attorneys is to make money. And we make money, some of us do anyway, by defending rapists and accused rapists and child molesters. God damn, this is dumb. And then once they have done their time, they need again to be reintegrated into society. Wait, that twit is an attorney? Yeah, honey, this twit is an attorney. I am a successfully practicing attorney, and I love my job. 99% of the time, I don't care what others' opinions are. You also don't care about the use of apostrophes, but wait, I'm the twit. But I draw the line at predators. So everybody has to have your opinion of predators, I guess? I don't know. That's awfully strange. If you're not actively trying to remove predators from public, you're protecting them. So if you're not for us, you're against us. I'm a mental genius. This is great. I'm the smartest person ever. If you're not actively... So right now, honey, you're just making a comment on a YouTube, I guess, post of some sort. You're not actively trying to remove a predator from the public. So are you when you sleep at night, are you protecting predators? Jesus Christ. You're protecting them in the same way that failing to report is against the law, just as a crime would be. Some people have to report crimes. Not all people. Your Joe Public doesn't have to report a crime. People like teachers have to report if a student or a child tells them that they were abused. They have to report that. It's mandatory reporting. Different states will vary on who has to report what, but yeah. So, again, you're dumb. That goes double for anyone working in the judicial system. Look, lady, I hate to break this to you, but attorneys actively defend people who are accused of sexual crimes. There is this thing called a defense attorney. He gets paid monies, cash monies, from either the state or the defendant, depending on whether it's a public defender or a private criminal defense attorney. In exchange for receiving those monies, the defense attorney will then actively try to either get the accused found not guilty or the charges dismissed, or get that accused person the least possible punishment for the crime. That is their job. But I'm the twit. Anyway, I've rambled long enough. This is all pretty stupid. The long and the short of it is that of this video is that either the First Amendment auditing community is protecting offenders or it's not. I am a member of the First Amendment auditing community. I have interacted with a large number of people in the First Amendment auditing community who do not protect offenders, nor do they want to protect sexual offenders. So this this opinion that you have is your opinion, and as your opinion, it is valid, but it is not borne out by the facts, which is why instead of laying out the facts as to why the First Amendment auditing community protects sexual offenders, you have instead decided to make an opinion poll, which apparently didn't do very much because, I mean, my up and downs are within the norms. I get a lot of hate, and I'm fine with that because I'd rather be hated than wrong. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.